We are back. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all. I don't know why I've been putting my hands in my, just putting my hands in my jacket pocket lately, bro. I don't know why I do this, but it's like it gets me ready for the onslaught that you about to lay on me. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta look at you like, yeah, we about to get ready to talk about some players, Bryan Broaddus. You ready to do this?
Absolutely, sir. Happy Thursday draft eve, whatever, I guess. Draft show eve tomorrow. We got draft show going on tomorrow. Excited about that.
We have draft show tomorrow. Y'all be sure to tap into us now, y'all. It's live now. The first episode wasn't live, Bryan. I have a super secret Illuminati theory that Derek and Beam didn't think that we was gonna do great the first episode, so that joint came out the next day. But once they was like, oh, all right, watching them straight. Now we'll just put it live out there now, bro. I just know the small things, sir.
Yeah. Sometimes they legitimately, for a $10 billion company,
oh, never mind. Don't worry
have trouble. They have problems hiring players or getting players, and they have problems finding coaches, and they also have problems putting up their shows. It's a $10 billion company. Don't let that bother you, though.
Okay, bro.
Don't let that bother you.
I thought it had something to do with me personally. I guess I was too caught up in my own.
Do you think they were worried that you were going to pull the big machete out like in the middle of the show and just go
Bryan,
after it?
you never know. You just never know what people really think of you. You know what I'm saying? You never know what these people really think of you, Bryan. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what they thought.
I was trying to talk to Derek. I was trying to tell him good things about you, and then I was worried you were going to pull the machete out of that bag.
Nah. Even I ain't gonna say no. I'll talk to you after the show. But yeah, Bryan. Yeah. Nothing going on. Everything's safe.
Nothing going on. Well, everything's good. Everything's good.
Bryan, we got 3 interesting players to talk about, man. I gave everyone the homework assignment. We got a chance to look at Matthew Golden, the wide receiver from Texas, R.J. Harvey, the running back from UCF, Central Florida, and Omar Norman Lott from Tennessee, defensive tackle. Now, Bryan, you want to go from my favorite to my least, or my least to my favorite? What you want to do here?
Okay, I'm gonna play a little game with you here right now. I know how much you like Harvey, the running back from Central Florida.
Yes, sir.
I got a text in the middle of my show with a very descriptive about Golden.
I said Golden can play is what I said.
Yeah, you absolutely did. And so I'm gonna say with the tackle Norman Lott from Tennessee. Okay, I'm gonna put them in order for you.
Okay.
Harvey, Golden, Norman Lott. That's how I'm going to put them in order for you.
That's from most to least?
That's from best to worst. Harvey, Golden, Norman Lott.
So, Bryan, when I look on my big board here, because I can visibly see, I can reach out and touch it if I want to. You remember how many first round grades I had last time, Bryan?
I think you said 12.
I had 11.
11?
11 first round grades. I got 12 now, Bryan.
Okay, so I got to figure out who you put in the first. You didn't put Harvey in the first. You put Golden in the first is what you did.
I got Golden in the first, Bryan Broaddus.
I knew you would. Yeah. And you're probably right. Him or Ibuka?
I got him behind Ibuka. I think Ibuka does more quarterback-friendly things. You know what I'm saying? Okay. He does the smart, I can navigate the zone type stuff. Golden's just a specimen. Golden's a dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes maybe you can trick up a dude like that. There were some games I was watching Texas, and it's like it took them a while to get Golden going. It's like they had to figure out a way to get him going. Once he got going, good luck to him. But it seems like it took him a while to get him going. If you can man up on Ibuka, then they'll find a way to make you play zone and he'll beat you in zone. If you find a way to do that, they'll just hand the ball to Ibuka. I think there's a lot of ways to get Ibuka. There's more ways to get Ibuka going than Golden. But when I was watching Golden, Bryan, here's one of my favorite things from a wide receiver. I discovered this when I was watching Lamb at Oklahoma.
Sure.
You don't know how weird quarterbacks are until you watch wide receivers make tough catches.
Yeah.
When you watch Matthew Golden, he'll catch some out here.
Yeah.
They'll be back there sometimes. They'll be a little low. Them joints would be too high. Sometimes if you orient it to the inside, they'll be high outside.
Yeah.
Matthew Golden brought all them down, Brian. He brought all them bad passes down. And I was like, I didn't even know Quinn threw bad passes like this. I think he does a really good job of changing up his tempo because I thought he was slow at first, Bryan Broaddus. I thought he had a hard time getting off the line of scrimmage. That's a lie. He just changing up his tempo. It's all good. But he does it in a way to defeat his guy. Like, it's not like I think he's a lazy player or anything. Like, sometimes he'll stutter off the ball. Sometimes he'll pace himself off. Sometimes he'll fly and run past you.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful. If he gets the ball in open space, he could take it to the house if you got enough space, Bryan Broaddus. I wouldn't necessarily call him a yak guy in a way of he's going to create a bunch of missed tackles, but if he's in open space, he can go. He can line up at the Z, line up at the X, line up in the slot. I particularly loves it. I love it when he line up at the slot or the X. He made all of his biggest plays in the X. And it seems like when you needed the big clutch plays, he made them. That dude made them, Brian. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, you have. I think you've painted the player perfect, and I think the last line that you just uttered about the clutch plays. I think everybody knew where the ball was going, and that kid delivered every single time.
Yep.
You know, you could watch him make play after play after play. It seemed like the bigger the game, the more plays he made. And so, I don't have him in the first,
That's okay.
but he's my fourth guy. And that's why I asked you I was trying to get a gauge since you had him in the first.
Yep.
I was trying to get him if you had him over Ibuka. And I have Ibuka from Ohio State in the first. He's my last first-round receiver.
Sure.
Golden would be my next guy. And then I have Williams from TCU behind him. And then our guy from Stanford behind him.
So, Brian, let me say this. I left something out of my report because when I was looking at this, right?
Yeah.
This is why he's a first-round guy.
I don't think you're wrong, by the way. I don't think
sir.
you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all.
This is why he's a first-round guy to me. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to look at the player and look at the two guys that he's kind of sandwiched in between, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I think about Savion Williams, right, wide receiver, TCU, he's not the refined guy, but he's an athletic specimen. You know what I'm saying? But he doesn't do the super wide receiver refinement things. I actually think Golden's a good route runner.
Yeah,
I do think Golden, just like he uses tempo off the line to kind of set his routes up, he uses head fakes, hands, and all this to get open, Brian. He'll leverage a guy to create that space to make him wide open, and then he'll go turn into the yak guy, right? So I thought that those qualities had made him closer to Ibuka than Savion. Savion's a specimen. Elike Mayor is a specimen. Stanford, they are specimens. Yeah. I think you got to have a little bit of technicality to your game to be up here with Ibuka. So that's why I put Golden right there in the first, because if Golden was only a physical player, I would still think he's a first-round pick. But the fact that he has the route running solidified it for me, Brian.
Yeah, I tell you what, you're making a compelling argument to have him in the first. The thing, and I just like. To me, the more I was watching Golden, I was just, the debate that I was having was because you wouldn't consider him over Burden at all, would you? I mean, you wouldn't, you like Burden from Missouri that much, right? Is there a big separation in your top four guys? Is there, how do you feel about that in your top four?
I think
where is it closer to, is Ibuka closer to, or is there still gap to this thing? Or could Golden, all of a sudden you find out he runs well, he tests well. Could he be over Ibuka and then challenging Burden? You don't see him challenging Burden, do you, the Missouri wide receiver?
I think those three guys are incredibly close. I think McMillan is the clear one, and then there's some space. I think Burden, Ibuka, and Golden are very close, and I can move any one of those dudes around. And I feel that way, Brian, because I think McMillan just clearly is better, but I think those next three guys are flavors of ice cream. If you like the yak guy, and I particularly love yak guys, it's so hard to tackle Burden. I think you can teach him some more wide receiver stuff. It's hard to teach somebody how to be hard to tackle. So I'm kind of valuing that right now. But something else that I absolutely got a sweet spot for with these wide receivers is route running. So I'm the kind of guy that if you got Ibuka and Golden over Burden, I won't call you crazy.
Yeah.
If you got him over McMillan, I might fight you. But if you got him over Burden, okay, I get it. You may not think Burden run routes. He ain't got a great route tree. He's only a yak guy. If you get a guy to cover Burden, he's done because he only gets going once he's not gonna route you to death.
I tell you what, I love what you're doing. I know I love what you're doing here. You know, and the thing is, you know, I think that's where, you know, you've got McMillan, and then you have the others kind of battling to who would be number 2.
Yep.
You know, on the board. And I think you totally nailed it with Golden and the, you know, and I was just looking through my notes on this, like does a really nice job of separating from coverage through his ability to accelerate in and out of breaks. You know, that's the selling of the routes, the crisp of the routes. You mentioned about pushing, like this guy will push a corner, then he'll break back downhill or back to the quarterback. And, you know, he's played outside. You mentioned he's played the slot. He's skilled in both areas, the change of direction, the ability to lose his guy. He generates explosive plays, the body control, the balance. He can elevate. I mean, there's things you talk about with Ibuka and Burden, and they're all kind of, you know, I would be interested to see where these guys are going to fall on a board. Are people going to like Golden more than Burden? Is McMillan going to be the top guy? Does you know, where does these like I say McMillan should be the top guy, but Ibuka, Golden, Burden, where, I mean, you could throw a blanket if you had the opportunity to grab any one of those 4 guys. I think you would be super happy about that. I was kind of worried that Dallas was going to get, you know, maybe the potential in that mock draft we did. Dallas got wiped out. Remember, all 3 receivers were gone. And now you're sitting there thinking, well, God, you know, what's the next option? Matthew Golden is the next option.
Sure.
And then Williams from TCU is an option. So to me, if you get in a situation, do you think Golden is a trade back guy? Like, I mean, I think you take who you take at 12.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But maybe if all of a sudden somebody comes up for somebody and you're now left with go down 3 spots, and then you pick up something and you draft Matthew Golden at like 15 or 16, 17, something like that.
I say it like this, Brian.
I don't think I'd have a real problem with that. If they were hunting wide receivers, if they were hunting a wide receiver.
Of my 12 first round grades, Brian, he might be 11 or 12. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So he's the last.
He the last of my first round guy. Yeah.
He's the last of the first round guy. So with that being said, you would be comfortable taking him at 12.
And this is why I feel this way, Brian, because I went down my second round picks, right? And I was like, all right, cool. Golden or Campbell from LSU.
Yeah.
I'm probably taking Golden. Golden or Tyler Booker, the guard from Bama. I'm taking Golden. Golden or
and you love Booker, and
I love Booker. I love Booker.
Yeah.
Golden. Okay, how about this one for you? Golden or James Pierce, Tennessee edge.
I would take Golden. Yeah.
Golden or Xavier Watts, Notre Dame safety.
Oh, the safety from Notre Dame, and you know me and my love for safeties.
Yep.
I would take Golden over Watts.
So you kind of putting yourself versus. Okay, so he may be behind all your first guys, but he's in front of all your second round guys. Jahad Campbell, linebacker, Jahad Campbell,
I take. See, I would
he's a
take
first
this
round
guy
guy
because Campbell. See, that's what I'm saying though. But on my board, if I have 15 grades, he's player 6. Because I asked you the question about trading back.
Sure.
So all of a sudden, if I go from 12 to 15 or 12 to 17, pick up an extra third round pick.
Yeah.
I'm cool, man. I've got gold, all those names of guys.
Yeah.
Everybody you named, you've heard me talk about those guys. So you're like, okay, let's compare. I think that he, when you have 15 players, he very well could be on my board at 16, 17, 18, somewhere right around there.
Yeah.
Is where he could be. And as far as when you stack it, and so there's not 30 if you're new to the program, there's not 32 first round grades.
Sure.
There's probably going to be 15, maybe, or if you're Voch's board, you might be 14, 13.
Yeah.
So like player 14 for him is basically a second round grade.
Sure.
So that's how you got to kind of look at these things. But I was worried when we did that mock and we got wiped out for the wide receiver, and then we got wiped out on the one techniques.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, where am I going to go now?
Sure.
I'll tell you a position I think Voch is going to be kind of a fallback position that maybe when we get to Dallas's pick, that's going to happen a lot of times when we're starting about, okay, who's your best available player? When Kyle Yeoman's asked, oh, who's the best one? Who do you got? I'm going to tell you there's probably going to be a lot of times we're going to say a running back's going to be the best guy left on our board.
100%.
100%. When you look, this thing looks like it's going to stretch. It's going to stretch into the fourth, especially since you had me, or all of us do the exercise, with Harvey.
Yeah.
So this thing is going to stretch. So I have a feeling it's going to be who's the best player on your board? Henderson. Who's Ohio State runner? Yep. Who's the best player on the board? Harvey, running back, UCF. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. And you're like, okay, because that looks like the one position to me, like the three techniques, that's starting to stretch a little bit.
Yeah,
not the three techniques. Excuse me, the ones.
One techniques.
Because I know we're going to talk about Norman Lott.
Yeah.
Hyphenated name, Norman Lott.
Last
Tennessee defense. Yeah. He's a three. I think he's a three technique myself.
Sure. Yeah, he is.
Is where so. But the one techniques look like they're going to stretch. Yeah. The threes we're going to have to find. We're going to have to find some threes in this thing, I think.
That's a really good conversation, Brian. Chat, if y'all will, go in the comments and let us know if you have Matthew Golden as a first round pick, second round pick, whatever you got him at. Just let us know.
Yeah.
And if you say that you didn't watch Matthew Golden, then we'll be mad that you missed shows because yesterday we told you to watch them. So
I would be interested to where people have those top four guys, and if you want to throw Williams from TCU in there, I'd be interested to see where you have those guys all ranked as well.
I'm going to make that on Twitter. You want to do four guys, Bird, Nabuka, Golden, and Williams?
Yeah.
How do you rank them? Okay, cool. I'm going to make that on I'm going to make that on Twitter. We're going to take a look at that. Brian, what about that's great discussion, by the way, Brian. What about our running back RJ Harvey? Why don't you lead this one off, Bryan Broaddus? So tell me what you think about my second favorite player out this bunch, the running back RJ Harvey.
Yeah, I'll tell you this though. I don't have him as my second best, but I will say this though.
Okay.
I am super impressed with this kid. In a way of being 5'9", 208. I think he runs. To me, that doesn't seem like a big guy, but he runs like a big guy. Mm-hmm. If you can get me here,
sure.
He's a transfer from Virginia, and really the last couple of years he's kind of come onto the scene for the Golden Knights. This kid makes plays with the ball in his hands. He's got a unique running style in the way he plays. It's like, I don't know if you watched the watch, but I noticed it's like they take the snap, they hand it to him, and it's like a slow developing play.
Yeah, very patient.
And then all of a sudden it's like, boom. And then it's like he just kind of thrives in this where snap, hand off, now go. Mm-hmm. It's nothing really quick about everything, but it's like the quarterback brings him the ball. He appears to stop, kind of read, and then he sees where he needs to go.
Yeah.
And there were so many snaps where I thought he was going to get trapped. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing you know, it's a burst and it's through the hole or it's around the corner. This kid had 32 carries this season where he gained, 15 or more yards per carry.
Yeah.
He had 32 of those carries. That was the second most in the country this year. 38 touchdowns the last 2 seasons. Super impressive that way.
Mm-hmm.
Small runs into huge plays, finishing runs. He will make some tacklers miss. Amazing how often he's doing this. Because again, it's like slow motion football. Bring the ball to him, hand him the ball, then he makes a play. I thought, I think that you look at him for his size. I mentioned he's 5'9", he's 2'8". That's what I'm working off right now. Guy averaged almost averaged 6.8 yards a carry playing this way. But each season he's gotten a little bit more of the workload. So I was kind of like, okay, is this one of those guys that completely wear out, give him a bunch of carries? No, he's pretty solid with the way it's just gotten a little bit. It hasn't been massive numbers, but it's gotten a little bit more. I wondered with his size if he'd wear down at the next level. He's kind of like I say, he's got that kind of that chunky kind of build to his frame.
Yeah.
But I think he protects himself with that. The way he looks, I think he kind of protects himself. But super smart kid. The kid's already got 2 degrees, numerous honor rolls. The start, stop quickness is impressive. It's just amazing. When you think he's going to be trapped, he's not. And so I took the route here of when I looked at him, my guys are Henderson, and I'm talking about this. I'm talking like in the third myself, because I thought I'm in the third. I still have Johnson from Iowa, Hampton from North Carolina in the second. Then I'm looking at Henderson, Scatterbo, Sampson, Harvey, Junkins. And then Neal down in the fourth. I've kind of lowered him after what some of the things. But with Harvey, I can understand if somebody takes him, I probably have him. I think I have these Henderson, Scatterbo, Sampson, Harvey, Junkins. I might have those guys a round too low. I mean, the third, that might not be the right round, but I've kind of got them all there. But I tell you what, man, Harvey was pretty damn impressive to watch.
Sure.
And because of the scheme. And I'm like, how's he doing this?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see him getting with somebody that gets him the ball quick and lets him attack this thing. But yeah, him, Sampson, Tennessee, man, those are just some really, really good players in that group that I have there.
So watching Harvey, Bryan, I actually think that play style benefits him a little bit, because over time it teaches him how to read what's in front of him.
Am I right?
Very patient,
right
very patient, very read what's in front of him. And there may be a handful of times where he's in the backfield dancing, trying to find something, like that'll happen sometimes. But besides that, Bryan, he is a guy that's like slow to the hole, and he bursts through it, and you can see the burst. You can see the acceleration.
You see the burst. You absolutely can.
But also on the back end of that, he's a great finisher. Like he'll lower his shoulder and try to run through you.
No question.
He's a tough ass runner, Bryan Broaddus. So I was very impressed by that, for him to be considered a small type guy, but to run with so much power and finish to him. I think he catches the ball naturally. He runs after the catch really well. He ain't blocking nobody worth of shit. So we just go ahead and put that there. But Bryan, as far as where we got him stacked, I only want to keep my 2 running backs in the second round, Hampton and Johnson, because I feel like all these third round guys are going to need they're going to need some help. They're going to need a running mate. You know what I mean? And I think Harvey's probably going to need another running back to kind of spell him a little bit. I don't know if he's going to be the change of pace guy or the first guy. I think Harvey can start. I think Harvey's really, really good.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, I agree.
And this is just a fantastic class of backs, just to have a bunch of dudes to just pair with somebody you may have already, pair with a veteran. But either way, whether they out first or second, I think Harvey's a guy that big play. And just like Sampson, Tennessee, Harvey finds the end zone, Bryan. He just finds the end zone, and that patient approach. I don't know if it's because these short guys, they duck down behind these offensive linemen, they just hard to find. But they'll get to the line of scrimmage and they'll finish somebody there. Like they'll get in that Oklahoma, that little alley, and they'll finish somebody down in there. I love how he ran with so much toughness, Bryan. So I got Harvey as my running back 4 right now, but I think him, Sampson, Henderson, and Scatterbo, I think that we're just going to be constantly changing those guys around over this thing.
It is going to be we'll see how the workouts go. We'll see the combine with the dudes catching the ball. We'll get the numbers. What's really cool is when you got a group like this, all these guys working behind each other in the combine, just bam, bam, bam. You'll see them one after another, and they'll be able to kind of get an idea. But when you sent me a text like, bro, you need to look at this Harvey kid. I'm like, okay, I'll get on it. And then last night you gave us the assignment, but I'm going to tell you what, if you take him instead of Sampson or Henderson, I ain't got any problem with you, man. I ain't going to go, oh, that's a reach.
Yeah.
Oh, that's somebody, like today, like, I know Dane put out a mock draft. Dane Burglar put out a mock draft, and he had the offensive tackle. He had the offensive tackle from Missouri, Mimbo. He had Mimbo going like before Dallas picked.
I haven't seen him, but I've seen Dane mock him really high. So maybe we got to go ahead and watch him.
No, I've got him watched, and tomorrow I think you need to add him to the homework assignment because Dane did have him in a very, very lofty spot. And today Gavin Dawson asked me as we were going through it, he goes, what do you think? Because Zach Wolchek had not seen him yet. And I say, I think that's a reach for me right now.
Okay.
And so I'd be interested to see where you have him placed and where our listeners have him placed if they've had an opportunity to watch him. No offense to the kid. He's a good-looking kid physically. We'll get into it tomorrow. Sure. But yeah, I'm not going to sit there and call a Henderson or a Scatterboo or Neil. I'm not going to call it a reach because I think these kids all have a trait or two that you could absolutely win with as a running back.
Sure.
Maybe even better than the group we saw last year, with the Bucky Irvins and those guys.
Yeah. Last year's crew, there were plenty guys in the 4s and 5s that could run. I think rounds 2 and 3 this year are probably going to be where the bread's most buttered.
Some dudes. Man, I just kind of feel like Dallas, if they don't somehow recoup, if they don't get another third like they did last year, that would be awesome. I could live without the 4
if you give me another 3.
If you can find another 3 for me. Yeah. I could live with that. And so I think the 3rd round might be the place to go. If they don't go, say they don't go Genty first, this thing can stretch. There's a side of me it's like, okay, I'm not going to draft Genty. People tell me, oh, you can't draft. I'm like, okay, fine. I feel better about the depth of the running backs if you said you're not going to get Genty. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 100%. Omar Norman Lott.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Brian. Gets his ass off the football, don't he?
Sure does.
He
absolutely does.
Man, that first step is the first thing that you notice. It is impressive.
Absolutely.
I think coaching matters here, first of all, Brian.
Yep.
I think scheme is going to 100% matter here.
Yep.
If you want him to be strong and take on double teams, I think he's in trouble. I saw him on the ground a little bit when somebody was asking him to kind of do that a little bit. But
yes, they were.
If he's pass rushing, slanting the front, gap exchange, twists and stunts, he gonna make some money right there, Bryan Broaddus.
Yep, he sure is.
He lines up all over the place, but I do agree with you. Put him in B gap and let him get them one-on-ones with the guard in there and let him work upfield.
Yeah.
If he's attacking, that's the lane for him. It's gonna be interesting when you see people and they think about what round to put him in. If he was stronger, man, Brian, I'd be throwing him up there. But I don't think he's a strong guy. But he could be a Pro Bowler if he's asked to do only what he's good at, Brian. And if you watch Tennessee's film, which is ridiculous because they got the worst D-line numbers in the world. They got a 27, a 7, a 20. You know what I mean? Just a bunch of weird numbers up there. But 55, they do rotate him in and out, Brian. I think 23, he played a lot more, but they rotate him out. Yeah. But when he's on the field, Bryan Broaddus, and it's a pass rush situation, you see him getting the pressure. You see him with that quickness off the line of scrimmage, with that quick swim, that quick rip off the line of scrimmage, and you see him get pressures. And he didn't get a bunch of sacks, but what the hell is coaching for if you got a kid that can get all this pressure and he just got to finish a little better? Just finish and stay off the ground. I don't know if he got to gain weight. He's like, what, 315 or something? 310?
Yeah, 315, 6'3", 315, and he doesn't look it. He really doesn't look that at all. I'll tell you what, man. It's amazing. It makes me feel good that you're seeing these players kind of the same way I am, because I always worry about that. I want to make sure, because I'm like, God, am I seeing this guy the right way? And I feel like now, after listening to your reports here today, I feel like I'm seeing him in the right way. This is a kid transferred from Arizona State, and you're right. He plays in a rotating system, so you really have to pay attention when he's in or out, because like they could go 2 plays, then he doesn't play for like 6 plays,
right?
And then he'll play for 3 plays, and then he's out for 4 plays. But when he does, you're right. He does a great job. His explosive first step quickness is impressive, and he can carry that through the rush. So there's some times you see him as a penetrator because of his quickness. He's generally the first man off the snap, and he gets in gaps. He can be disruptive. He's got the lateral agility, the movement. He can play outside the tackle box. All these things, super active in the way he goes about, the quickness we mentioned. And but this is the problem. This is the problem. He will put himself in position to make plays, and then he doesn't complete the play.
Got to finish, yeah.
He is really close to making a play, and he doesn't play. It reminds me of watching who was our Awuzie. Remember Awuzie, the corner?
Yep, this close.
It was always like ball thrown, he dives, misses, it's a first down catch.
Yep.
Remember Awuzie was always almost right there every single play, and then he was giving up plays. Norman Lott, Tennessee defensive tackle, 3 technique in my book. He does the same thing. I just wish he was a little bit better finisher.
Yeah.
But there's snap where you see him perfectly playing himself in position, and then he just can't close it down. Real close to making plays.
Yep.
But you're right. I think he can play all up and down the line of scrimmage and be productive wherever he lines up. I'd be interested to see how he would play if he had more opportunity, because he doesn't play the whole game. He plays parts of games.
Sure.
Is what he does. But at 6'3", 315, and is active and is quick and explosive. We were all bitching about Mozzie getting off the ball.
Yeah.
This kid's the complete opposite of what Mozzie is getting off the football.
He gets off. Yep.
He gets off the football. So I have him in the 3rd round. I haven't seen a whole hell of a lot of 3 techniques. We've seen Sanders from South Carolina. We've seen Norman Lott from Tennessee. We've seen Nolan from Mississippi. All those guys in my book right now are 3rd round guys. I could be completely wrong about Nolan from Mississippi, hoping to get more tape. Right now, Sanders, South Carolina, Norman Lott, Tennessee, Nolan, all in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
I do not have a 1st round or a 2nd round 3 technique right now.
No. I have Norman Lott ranked over Sanders, and I also have him in the 3rd round. So we're all on the same page.
Okay.
With that. Yeah.
Okay.
But fan of the player, fan of him, and I can see him being a guy that and look, and that's the problem, man, because
you find him on tape. You find him. I mean, he's the first guy off the ball.
Can't miss him.
You can't miss him.
That's why you really got to figure out this coaching thing, right? Because if you need your guys to be stacking and shedding and double team them, you don't need to be looking at Norman Lott at all. But if we like Dan Quinn will love him. Like, that's a Washington football wizard right there. That dude is a commander, because Dan Quinn will have his ass getting upfield. So we have to figure out what this coaching staff is and what we're going to be doing on both sides there or whatever. But fan of the player, I'm a fan of all 3 of these guys. But I was blown away by
I am too.
Golden.
I'm too.
Yeah,
good homework assignment there. That was a good one, man. I will be. Like I say, that running back room, if somebody takes Harvey, I'm going to say good pick. If somebody takes Henderson, I'm going to say good pick. So, if Scatterboo, if somebody takes good pick, this running back room is, It's going to Baskin Robbins.
Yep.
It's going to Baskin Robbins. It's ordering the chocolate chip. It's ordering the Rocky Road. It's, enjoy the flavors, because I think they're all good. I think they're all good players.
Now, Brian, this is what we got moving forward or whatever. Okay.
Got it.
You don't have to write nothing down.
Oh, wait. What?
So first thing I want you to do when we done here, you can do this on you. Well, don't do it on your walk. I want you to be safe outside. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you get a little time, I tag you to Twitter, and I put out the post. I say, hey, rank these 4 receivers. There is no consensus. Everybody got something different with those 4 receivers. With Ibuka, Golden, Burden, and Williams, everybody got a little something different. I saw some people got Williams as the second guy. Some people got Golden as the first guy. Some people got Burden way down. I want you to take a look at that. So for tomorrow's show, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go over this tweet that we just did.
Yeah.
We're going to look over Dane's mock, and we're going to talk about the Thursday edition of the draft show. Okay? So Friday, I'm going to have so Thursday night, I'm going to have players for us, and we're going to talk about four of these guys Friday. So
I like it, boss. I
like
what you're doing here. I like it.
As we got moving forward, Bryan Broaddus. Hey, fantastic. I really feel like nobody doing it like me and you, Bryan Broaddus. Fantastic conversation today.
There's people kind of like, there are people talking about us, and some in a good way, some in a bad way. We're okay with that. Just be nice if you're talking about us bad.
They ain't gotta be nice, man. They ain't gotta be nice. just watch the show and we're straight.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a little preview of the draft show tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Who's coming in with the attitude tomorrow, you or me?
I never come in with attitude, but I will match your energy every single time, sir. It's gonna be me, you, and Nick and Zach.
Ooh,
yeah.
I think you and I need to go after Zach.
Let's go after Zach.
I think we need to challenge Zach some. I think we need to challenge him some tomorrow.
Let's do it. Zach texted me and told me that he had Millam ranked higher than Booker, so maybe I'll fight him on that. We'll see.
Ooh.
We'll see about that.
I tell you, Zach's got a pretty good eye for these offensive linemen, though.
Yeah,
he's got a pretty good eye.
I have become YouTube famous for it, so we'll see. So it'll be a good fight. It'll be a good fight. Bryan Broaddus, thank you so much. What a pleasure this is.
See you tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow morning, and then I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. We got a good plan going forward.
Yes, sir. vochlombardi and BRY again, Broaddus. We appreciate y'all for tapping in. Y'all hold it down until next time. Crown.